Thank you. Yes. Well, rewrite leaders. I will not say yes or no. I'll say yes and I'll say no. Why yes is that Shehu Diko is the chairman of the National Sport Commission, and I've worked with him for a long time, and the few times I've worked with him, I can see that he's intentional about certain things he wants to achieve. So if we have to go from that context, yes. But I think the major problem we have in the country is alignment and institutional reform that we need sport. If we do not institutionalize our system, I can tell you, even the next World Cup will not qualify. We need a lot of institutional reform in sports. For instance, I've just been appointed NIS DG, and for 50 years there's no plan on how NIS will function, and the NIS is 50 years. I remember I was calling for all ministers that have been Minister of Sport to be called to come and account. It's not come and account for money, come and account for how you destroy NIS. Because if NIS does not function, Nigerian sport will not function. True. It will not function. And that's what people realize. So for us, answering your question, I will say yes, because just yesterday, since I came in, we have started zonalizing and decentralizing NIS now. I'm working with the chairman to achieve that. For 50 years, NIS have been in Lagos only, and the Abuja office 2007 was moribund. But we have started now to zonalize NIS. We have started with Enugu Southeast. We started with Abeokuta Southwest. We started with Plateau North Central. We started with the chairman and I will be going to Kaduna to establish that of Kaduna. So this is how to go. We must take sport back to grassroots. So when you say right leadership, that's why I say yes or no, but we don't have leadership that was focused, leadership that was intentional, and leadership that was ready for institutionalization of sports.
All right, so I'm going to say thank you very much for that. I don't know if football. Now, football does spoil dating. I don't know how true that is, but doctor, they say football does spoil dating. In Nigeria, when they hear the word NFF, they hear corruption. In Nigeria, when they hear the word sports administrators, they just see are corrupt individuals. Accountability is on the lowest earth. Why is that so wrong? And how can we address that too? Briefly.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's very unfortunate because now being a recurring person, and that's why I don't see decent people wanting to accept governmental positions anymore. Because I can give an example of myself. There's a company that I'm on the board. One of these IOCs wrote to the company and said, we want to do an activity check on this particular person. Because in 2019, they said he was arrested, he was detained, and that was it. But let me tell you, so that like us, I say here today, never ever would want to go back to that, because at the point, my wife asked me a simple question. I have to choose between the family or the Nigerian Football Federation. But let me answer your question. When we came, it was very, very bad. Extremely bad. The first day I sat in office, a member was brought to me to sign, to approve to buy jerseys. In 2014, we're going to play South Africa from Adidas. I said, I can't be buying jerseys, but I just won the Nations Cup in 2013. The rest is history. I went to Blatter. There was nothing I didn't do. Blatter called the director marketing in Adidas. And it's not what I want to see in public. The same thing I had to try to get Puma for us. And Puma told me, he told me that Nigeria has been blacklisted. I said, why? It's a story I don't want to also say in public because it's not my style. But trust me, when those two major brands decided to discard Nigeria, I took it upon myself. I went to the US twice, and today I got the best brand we are doing tomorrow night. But let me tell you what we did. When we came on, the first thing we did was to get PwC, was to get financial derivatives. Even Bain and Co for management consultants. We got those three companies, so when we're going to make any presentation, and of course, Mike Itamago and Pamosi, they'll say something different is going on here because they know that at that point, nobody can doctor PwC.
Okay, try to wrap it up. I'm going to try to summarize it. Now, the second leg of my question is that how can we address these accountability issues that the sporting administrators are facing in Nigeria today? The average sporting administrator is seen as corrupt. How can we begin to address that issue?
First, we must have orientation and reorientation among Nigerians and critical stakeholders. It is very important. Because when they see anybody, this guy is corrupt, this guy is, it's not like, listen, before football will exist, another football will exist. Here people is there. If I wanted to control the person of anything, anybody wanted, but I said no. Because at that point, my name was in a complete mess. So I had to leave. So that's why I keep saying, we must as a country have reorientation towards this area, football, sports in general. And that orientation must be objective. It must not be about, oh, Christopher Green. If it's not Christopher Green, it must not be anyone else. You see, the bitterness in Nigerian football, deep-seated emotional hatred, animosity is one of the major reasons. Why? For example, I can tell you today, some people were praying for Nigeria not to qualify because they want the bride to so out of anything. That is the truth. That's how bad it is. That's the thing here in Nigeria.
All right, sir. Okay, so as we try to wrap it up, we'll get your time to ask questions. Sir? Sir? No, sir. No, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Because of time, we need to press forward. Chairman, I would like to ask that same question, but before I do, speaking about governance, Mr. Nelson, you work with GTI. I don't know how you will do it, but for the last 4 years, you have had that way.
My mandate is to take NIS back to life and bring it to life. And when I got I discovered that it's the engine room of sport in Nigeria. It's really the engine room of sports in Nigeria. NIS, from the policies that I've seen and from what I've seen from the past, is supposed to be training coaches, training elite athletes, training paramedics, and sports science, including physiotherapists. But ask me, just go to Iroele where the headquarters is. These facilities are there. The infrastructures are there, but empty buildings, empty rooms. Some rooms, no roof. Then Obasanjo came and built remodeled after Australian Institute and built the Athlete Development Center in Abuja. The Athlete Development Center was destroyed by the ministers and ministries. It never functioned until we came in now. We started putting it together. The first set of students that will be graduating from them from the basic course will be December 18. We have to cut short admission. 786 applied. We didn't have facility to take them. We have to cut short their admission to 120. So that's brought the issue of the plan that we have, 10 years plan. I worked that plan within 4 weeks and I became the member of that I was appointed. What did I do? I went to check the facility. I checked those that were there before. I asked them questions. I asked the marketers, like people like Mike Itamago and others, because he is one person that I've always guided me as far as sport is concerned, from Edo State. And I asked the like of Amadu, consulted with the chairman, even my friend Olapade, all of them. I consulted. Why? I needed to know the problems and how to solve it. All right. So we had a 10 years working document. And that 10 years working document, we've started implementation. We must take sport back to grassroots. And what have we done? The 6 geopolitical zone, we are opening up NIS offices. What will they be doing? Their duties will be certificate courses and diploma only. In 4 years' time, we'll be taking NIS to states. What will they be doing at the state? Basic courses, 3-month basic courses at the state level. If you check our players, just like Chairman was telling me just now, the tide has changed. If you don't, my experience in mental insurance and endocrine tells that if you don't put money to keep these players in Nigeria, they will never remain in Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Because of time, we might go on and on. The chairman wants to just say something in 45 seconds. So because we still have 2 more questions before we wrap up this segment, I'll be coming to you, Mr. Pinnick, in a moment. All right, 45 seconds.
I just want to put that question asking. For like 50 years, the NIS has been run by professors from the university and from everywhere, and there is no progress. We just keep things going on the reverse. But if you go and check the NIS Act, the law says that you should appoint an administrator to run the NIS.
All right.
A professor or something like that. So President took that whole decision and now brought in a friend, the former deputy governor, as an administrator to run the NIS. While the professors and what have you have run the operations, if you go to the best universities in the world, it's not professors that are running the Harvard and stuff like that. The best hospitals are not run by the doctors, are run by administrators. All right. That's basically the vision of why he's there, and that's why he took that position.
All right, thank you very much.
About infrastructure. I mean, I like the former president of NFF, he mentioned about Morocco, referencing about Morocco. I was in Morocco for the WAFCON, I covered the WAFCON, and I saw the amount of progress that we've done. Now we're talking about infrastructure. What are we going to do to put in place to make sure that every promises and things being said here are not swept under the grass and our implementations after this gathering? Thank you.
All right, please, who will take on the question? 1 minute. I'll give an opportunity to panelists, 2 panelists to just take on it. 1 minute, please.
Well, that's why we are here, because we want to hear from all the other stakeholders to see where we are heading to and what we can add to what we are doing to make this right. And if you go and check our ways documents, for example, to find out, you see why we say that it's being implemented on 3 pillars. And research, we focus and we launch our sports. Considering our sports, we have to go back to the foundation, to go back to the basic sports, instead of only focusing on the international competitions. And focusing it means we have to be intentional and deliberate about it, regarding whatever policies we want to implement, whatever legislation we have to do, executive orders, we are very direct and intentional and deliberate about it. Eventually, we have to make sure we have a positive narrative always. So within that framework, now we have to launch our sports. You can see how we have been very intentional and deliberate about it. It's not about talking about the sport commission here now, but if we can speak about that instead of holding here today. So that's kind of what we are doing. Anything we say we have to do, we have to just get it done the right way, and we focus on it and get it done. And we have to simplify it. Instead of us being just going from standard, and we have to do that.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We really apologize.
Those things are what they will expect for you to implement and to deliver. And by taking sports away from the brokenness of the normal civil service and putting it directly on the table of Mr. President. So at the end of the day, the president is always questioning and looking back and saying, what are you doing? Is that the light the vision that I want to implement as a government to succeed? You are doing it. Then you are out. So definitely the way things are going, this thing will be sustained. And then for the fact that now we have a commission which is supposed to be run by professionals. So even if today I'm out, PG is out, the people that will actually come are people who are also maybe from this forward, who are professionals, who really understood what's all about. So there will be not much change of policy like that, because there are people also that understand clearly what is supposed to be done. But like before, where you can wake up from anywhere and bring a minister, you can wake up from anywhere and bring a permanent secretary, you can wake up from anywhere and put a director into the sports commission. That will not happen. Everything will have to be professionalized and to make sure it's already sustainable. And only people with the right ideas that will do that. Because every president will want to succeed within the sector because of the impact the sector will give. There will be no president that will jump with sports the way it's going to be. If you see, for example, the new policy that might be announced very soon by the president, that will change clearly the funding of sports in this country to get it the right way. And so it's good for that. Then you can understand clearly the direction that is going. And those kind of policies will not be changed by anybody else.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together.
Because the challenge here is that we're speaking about billions, and by God's special grace, you have been a beneficiary of these billions. But the players are struggling.
But every year, if I can teach you, Iroele Sports Management created jobs for about 2,000 people. every year. And guess what? We pay thousands of dollars to runners. And we're the first company to create a prize money for local runners. Mr. and Mrs. Pan have built a mansion in Jos by winning over 30 million naira from just one company. I'm not talking about what Open Paris has given to them. Same family. Only 15 people, only 15 runners in road running has won over 100 million in 5 years in this country. When we want to talk about salaries. But the truth of the matter is, I spoke earlier on, Naija Sports brokered the biggest individual deals for Toby Shop and S. Brumen with Premium Trust Bank, $450,000 for Toby, $150,000 for S. Brumen. It was from the private sector. The Premium Trust Bank this year alone has won billions in sponsorship. It is unfair to say that these private sector companies, the Access Bank, name them, who have put in so much, MTN, who have put in so much into sports, helping our children, helping businesses and creating jobs, that they've not come to the table. Because somebody just wants to speak of administrators. It is wrong. Like I said, a lot of us are getting paid through sports and from the private sector. Thank you.
Observation, please. Observation.